June 1945, London. Detective Inspector Walter Henry Thompson sat at his desk, pen in hand, 350,000 words, 18 years, dozens of threats he recorded. He had protected Winston Churchill through Egypt, Ireland, Germany, the Blitz, 3 continents, and a world war. Now he was writing it all down. Everything he saw, everything Churchill said in private, every moment the public never witnessed. The manuscript was nearly finished. Then 2 men arrived at his door, one from the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, one from Downing Street. They did not threaten prison. They threatened his pension. A man who kept a prime minister alive was powerless against payroll. The message was simple: publish this memoir, and you lose everything. This is the story of the man who saved Churchill's life more times than anyone counted, who witnessed history closer than most historians ever could, who kept Churchill alive for 18 years, and who was ordered to stay silent about all of it. Thompson stopped bullets for Churchill for 18 years. The government stopped Thompson with a pension threat. Subscribe. August 22, 1939. Croydon, England. Walter Thompson stood behind the counter of his grocery shop, age 48, retired from Scotland Yard 3 years earlier. Selling vegetables, quiet life. A telegram arrived. Meet me, Croydon Airport, 4:30 p.m., Wednesday. Churchill. Thompson stared at it. Churchill had no official government position. War had not been declared. But Churchill knew what was coming. And Churchill knew he would need protection. Thompson closed the shop, told his wife he was leaving, did not know for how long. August 23, 1939. Thompson met Churchill at Croydon Airport. Churchill's first words, "Ready to go back to work, Thompson?" Thompson nodded. Pay? £5 per week, paid personally by Churchill, not the government. September 1, 1939. Germany invaded Poland. September 3, 1939. Britain declared war. Churchill rejoined cabinet as First Lord of Admiralty. Thompson's unofficial protection became official Scotland Yard duty. For the next 6 years, Thompson would not leave Churchill's side. Thompson's first assignment with Churchill? 18 years earlier. February 1921, Cairo, Egypt. Churchill, Secretary of State for Air and Colonies, traveling to Middle East, inspecting RAF units, meeting with T.E. Lawrence, Lawrence of Arabia. Russell Pasha, head of Egyptian police, pulled Thompson aside. Thompson recorded Russell Pasha's warning in those exact words. Churchill is in the greatest danger. Trust nobody, black or white. Cairo, tense. British occupation resented. Nationalist movements growing. Churchill, obvious target. February 25, 1921. Train from Cairo to Jerusalem. Thompson riding in Churchill's car. Mrs. Churchill reading. Churchill working on papers. Sir Archibald Sinclair, personal secretary, reviewing documents. Train slowed near crossing. Crowd gathered. Large. Angry. Thompson saw stones first. Windows smashed. One ahead of Churchill's compartment, one behind. Flying glass everywhere. Lawrence of Arabia appeared. Calm. Waved Thompson to hold position. Went to end of car. Huge mass of Egyptians fighting for hold on window ledges. More stones. Window after window shattered. Mrs. Churchill stopped reading. more annoyed than frightened. Churchill laid aside pencil, turned to Sinclair. "Better relieve Thompson of his packages, Archie." Meaning Thompson needed his hands free for the revolver. Lawrence returned, whispered to Thompson. Train would not stop. Keep moving. Egyptians could not board while train moving. Train crawled through crowd. Thompson stood, coat open. Let them see the weapon. 45 minutes. Train cleared crossing. Churchill returned to his papers. Never mentioned it again. Thompson's job? Make sure Churchill never had to. Over 18 years, Thompson recorded assassination threats. Thompson later wrote that he disrupted multiple credible attempts on Churchill's life. The exact count varied in his accounts, but the pattern was consistent. Constant vigilance against recurring danger. He was not history's author. He was history's human tripod. 1921 to 1932. IRA threats. Sinn Féin cell in Glasgow planned kidnapping reprisal. Churchill on target list. Thompson assigned November 1920. Multiple IRA plots documented. Thompson investigated each. Increased security, changed routes, prevented contact. 1929 to 1932. International threats. Churchill's political positions made him target across multiple movements. Thompson identified surveillance, altered schedules, positioned himself between Churchill and crowds. One incident, New York, 1931. Churchill struck by car crossing Fifth Avenue, hospitalized. Thompson investigated. The incident was treated as an accident, not a confirmed attack. But Thompson remained vigilant. 1939 to 1940. Nazi intelligence. German intelligence knew Churchill's importance. Before he became prime minister, Thompson received warnings from MI5 about German operatives in England. Thompson changed Churchill's routes daily. Never same path twice. Never predictable schedule. Churchill complained about inconvenience. Thompson did not care. 1940 to 1941. The Blitz. September 1940. Luftwaffe bombing London. Churchill's habit? Watch air raids from rooftops. Walk streets during bombings. Visit anti-aircraft batteries during attacks. Thompson's nightmare. October 14, 1940. Churchill on Downing Street roof. Bombs falling, shrapnel everywhere. Thompson physically pulled Churchill back inside. Churchill protested, wanted to watch. Thompson, "Prime Minister, if you die, Britain loses the war." Churchill went inside, grudgingly. 1943. Tehran Conference. November 1943. Big Three Conference. Churchill, Roosevelt, Stalin meeting in Tehran. Soviet security later claimed a plot codenamed Operation Long Jump. German commandos would parachute into city to assassinate the three leaders. Accounts differ on the operation's credibility, but Thompson treated it as a live threat. Thompson never briefed Churchill on the full intelligence reports. Churchill attended conference, made jokes, negotiated strategy. Thompson stayed awake 3 nights straight, weapon ready, door guarded. December 1944. Athens, Greek Civil War erupting. Communist guerrillas fighting government forces. Churchill decided to fly to Athens, negotiate peace. Thompson opposed. Too dangerous. Churchill insisted. December 25, 1944. Churchill arrived Athens. Christmas Day. Plan? Stay at hotel. Thompson inspected hotel first. Communist guerrillas had placed dynamite. Thompson ordered immediate change. Churchill moved to HMS Ajax in Piraeus Harbor. Thompson later described small arms fire directed at the ship. Churchill stayed aboard, conducted meetings. Thompson on deck, watching for boats, watching for swimmers, watching for anything. 48 hours, no sleep. Churchill secured temporary ceasefire. Thompson got Churchill out alive. Thompson was not just bodyguard. He was witness to everything. Private Churchill. Thompson saw Churchill exhausted, saw him ill, saw him after defeats, saw him elated after victories, saw Churchill read maps at 3 a.m., pacing, muttering, calculating. Saw Churchill argue with generals, with Roosevelt, with Stalin. Saw Churchill kind. When Thompson's daughter fell ill, Churchill arranged his personal doctor, paid invoice himself. Saw Churchill ruthless, firing commanders, overruling advisors, making decisions that killed thousands to save millions. Thompson heard conversations historians never recorded. Private meetings with Stalin, Roosevelt, de Gaulle, Eisenhower. Arguments, compromises, threats, promises. He stood in the corner where photographs never look. The human cost. Thompson's son killed in RAF 1943. Churchill attended memorial service, personally, wrote condolence letter by hand. Thompson returned to duty 3 days later because Churchill needed protection. And Thompson understood personal grief subordinate to mission. Thompson's first marriage dissolved, 1929. Stress of job, long absences, constant danger. During war, Thompson married Churchill's secretary May Shearburn. She understood the life. She knew Thompson would always choose Churchill's safety over his own. May 8th, 1945. Victory in Europe. War over. Churchill triumphant. Thompson's job complete. 18 years protecting Churchill. Dozens of threats neutralized. Every credible plot disrupted. Thompson had seen it all, and Thompson had written it all down, not for glory, for history, because Thompson believed people deserved to know the truth, the real Churchill, not the myth, not the propaganda, the man who doubted, who made mistakes, who was human, and the man who led Britain through its darkest hour anyway. Thompson's manuscript, 350,000 words, every incident documented, every conversation remembered, every threat detailed. The complete story. June 1945. 2 men knocked on Thompson's door, one from Metropolitan Police Commissioner, one from Downing Street. Thompson later claimed they had reviewed the manuscript. The message was clear. You will not publish this. Thompson asked why. National security. Thompson asked what security risk existed now that war was over. Thompson's recollection was that the subtext was reputational. Keep the myth clean. Thompson asked if the events he described were untrue. Silence. Then the threat. According to Thompson's later account, the warning was blunt. Publish, and the pension goes. Thompson, 54 years old, retired detective, no other income, wife, family, pension, his only security. They did not need a court. They had payroll. The choice was simple. Publish truth, lose pension, face financial ruin. Or comply, censor memoir, protect government's preferred history. Thompson complied. 1951. I Was Churchill's Shadow published. Sanitized, approved, censored, gone. Private conversations with Stalin, Roosevelt. Gone. Churchill's moments of doubt, exhaustion. Gone. Controversial decisions, arguments with generals. Gone. Details of assassination plots. How close Churchill came to death. What remained? Adventure stories. Heroic tales. Churchill the myth. The book sold well. Thompson gave interviews, signed copies. Never mentioned the 350,000 words locked in his desk. The full manuscript. The complete truth. Hidden. 1953. Thompson published 60 Minutes with Winston Churchill. More sanitized stories. 1955. Thompson published Assignment, Churchill, American edition. Still censored. Each book approved by government. Each book incomplete. Thompson died 1978, age 87. The full manuscript remained hidden. 2003. Thompson's great niece, cleaning family papers. Found box in attic. Inside, original 350,000-word manuscript. Uncensored, complete. Everything Thompson wrote in 1945. Everything the government ordered him not to publish. She read it, then contacted historians. 2005. The material was adapted into a multi-part BBC documentary series, Churchill's Bodyguard, based on Thompson's complete uncensored memoirs. What the documentary revealed: the real threats, not adventure stories, real Nazi intelligence, real explosives, real danger. Churchill's private moments, exhaustion, doubt, humanity. The exploitation. Thompson saved Churchill's life repeatedly. Government rewarded him with censorship. 60 years after Thompson wrote it, 60 years after the government banned it, 60 years after Thompson chose his pension over his truth. The full story finally told. Because the government decided Thompson's loyalty meant silence, not just during his service, forever. Thompson protected Churchill 18 years, traveled 200,000 miles, disrupted multiple credible assassination attempts, witnessed history closer than most historians ever could. Government's response: thank you for your service. Now stay silent. The pension threat worked because Thompson had nothing else. No independent wealth, no other career, just his police pension. The government knew this and used it. What Thompson lost: his son, killed 1943, protecting the country Thompson protected Churchill for. His first marriage, destroyed by stress and absence. His story, censored for 60 years. His truth, locked away until he was dead. What the government protected: not national security. War was over. Not Churchill's safety. Churchill was secure. Not classified information. Thompson documented public events. They protected the mythology. The Churchill myth required perfection. No doubt. No exhaustion. No humanity. Just greatness. Thompson's memoir showed Churchill as human, and that was unacceptable. If Thompson's memoir was false, why threaten him? If events were inaccurate, why not simply deny them? If the manuscript was harmless, why demand censorship? The government never claimed Thompson lied. The message was consistent. He had told too much truth. There is a difference between lying and revealing. Thompson revealed, and for that, he was silenced. Thompson saved Churchill's life repeatedly over 18 years. The government saved Churchill's reputation once, by threatening the man who made that reputation possible. Thompson died 1978, took his pension, stayed silent. His great niece found the manuscript 2003. The full story emerged 2005. History remembers Churchill the hero and buried the man who kept him breathing. It forgets Thompson the witness, who kept Churchill alive through constant vigilance and was ordered to pretend it never mattered. The system's message: loyalty means silence. Service means erasure. Witness means nothing if it complicates the myth. Thompson understood this. He complied. He kept Churchill alive, and the government kept Thompson quiet. History got the hero it wanted. Thompson got a pension and a gag order. That is how you control history. You do not need to burn the book. You only need to own the writer's livelihood and wait until he is dead to let the truth out. Thompson died 1978. Manuscript published 2005. Government timing? Perfect. General George Patton. Wars may be fought with weapons, but they are won by men. Thompson was the man who kept Churchill alive. The government won by controlling when he could speak. Subscribe.